Did you ever play with Lincoln Logs as a kid? The crew at Homestead Log Homes found a way to make it their living. Today, I'm getting a better look at how the crew stays safe while turning this into this. Let's go. Oregonians are anything but ordinary. We're traveling the state to find the weird and wonderful jobs people do and how they stay safe doing them. I'm Jenkins, and this is Oregon Odd Jobs. Kelly, Corey.
Kelly, hello, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. So, tell me a little bit about what Homestead does.
Well, we try to sell an Oregon product that's grown in Oregon, built in Oregon, and shipped from Oregon.
Nothing screams Western United States like a log home, right? What are some of the benefits to having a log home over a conventional house build?
Well, they do feel better, for one, on the inside, and they look better from the outside. They're cozy, and that's kind of part of it. It's real, the home feel.
So when people apply at Homestead, you sit them down, give them some Lincoln Logs and say, build me something?
When they apply at Homestead, the first thing they do is we shuck logs. That's where everybody starts. If they come here and we help them and they skin logs and they make it, they usually stay for a long time, because that is the hardest part here, and you're gonna find that out today.
And so began my first day of work at Homestead Log Homes. First stop, shucking logs. With my chainsaw chaps on, I got my first look at the Wizard, which is basically a 3-inch planer on the edge of a chainsaw that spins really fast and strips off the bark. Tim here was kind enough to give me a demonstration on how to do it right before it was my turn to demonstrate how little experience I have around chainsaws. Not good, pretty slow. As we inspected my work, my timidness showed.
You can take a little better bite, a little bigger bite.
Okay, got it.
You know, you're not trying to polish.
All right, second try. Time to, as they say, let it eat.
How'd you do?
Good.
You hired?
That's better.
Yeah. All right.
Having passed the new employee test, I'd worked my way up the ladder to job of swoop cutter. Cutting a swoop in the wood helps the logs fit snugly together as the home is built. Tim, of course, once again showed how awesome he was at his job. Then it was my turn.
Think you can do that?
I can do it, but I'm not gonna do it like that.
We don't want you to do it like that. Then it'd make us look bad and they'd probably get rid of us.
Here we go again.
That's pretty good, buddy.
Hey, that's harder.
No, you did really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it needs cleaned up, and you can see this angle.
Saying that.
I am just saying that.
Yeah.
But we can cut that.
My pay grade was going up. Now it was time to cut a new log down to size. First, they put a snap line down the middle, which is the basis for all the other measurements throughout the process. Anthony and his epic beard cut down one side, and I attempted to look just as cool as I cut down the other, with mixed results. When I walk away, just fix it and just don't tell me. You'd think with all the chainsaws being used, that would account for most of the workplace injuries at Homestead. But Kelly explained why that wasn't the case.
I like to think of chainsaw use as the rattlesnake at the zoo. You're gonna avoid it or give it lots of respect when you get near it. And that's what we preach here. The guys know to give that chainsaw adequate respect, keep away from it. Most people know what they're dealing with when they fire it up. Makes noise, scares them. Hey, it's go time.
You might be wondering then, what is the major safety concern?
Number one is the sanders. They get done with the chainsaw, they put it down, now they relax, they start thinking about home, they start thinking about the game tonight, and they pick up the sander and boom, the next thing you know, they hit a finger. That's our number one, is complacency. If we can get away from the complacency, we'll be a lot better off.
It was time to continue my rise through the ranks of Homestead employees and try my hand at the mill. This part of the process actually happens before the trimming and the peeling and the swooping, but requires a bit more of an experienced hand, as I soon found out. It sounds like it should be easy, just measure, aim, and go. Well, with all these levers and a whole lot of inexperience, something was bound to go wrong. And it did. I don't really even know what I did. All I know was the machine stopped working before I even got through an inch of the wood. Thankfully, I didn't break it too much, and after a half hour of repairs, I was able to try again. Round 2. Just measure, aim, and go. Ah, that's more like it. Now that the logs were prepared, it was time to build. They actually build the entire home here on site, then dismantle it and ship it off to its final destination, where it's rebuilt in about 40 hours. They build it here because if any mistakes are made, it can be fixed here instead of making do hundreds of miles away. To begin to build the home, they first place the log where it's meant to go based on a numbering system. Then they measure, and then they take a tool called a scriber, which they use to mark out where to make the notches in the log so the whole thing fits together. Then they do a process called gouging, where they chisel along the line, which helps to prevent the wood from splitting when they cut it with the chainsaw. Speaking of which, it was time once again for Tim to show me how it's done. And then it was time for me to give it a shot. How'd I do? Not great. Thankfully, Tim cleaned it up for me. With that, we fastened the log into place, and the process was complete. And that's how you build a log house. I have no idea what I'm doing. They just keep giving me chainsaws.
He did pretty dang good. We could turn him into a worker around here.
Excellent. There's a future for me in log home construction. If this whole video thing doesn't work out.
I'd stick with the videos myself. It's a little easier.
Thanks for joining us today while we followed the folks at Homestead Log Homes. Next time you come across a log structure, you'll know just how much craftsmanship and pride went into fitting the whole thing together. I'm Corey Jenkins, and we'll see you next time on Oregon Odd Jobs.